Hi everyone, it's Chenso from Reality Art Pod. I'm watching our favorite reality shows, breaking down what's art and what is just trash. For today, I'm going to be covering everything that happened on Love Island USA between July 23rd through August 1st, 2023. I was covering this on my Sunday recaps, but with all these episodes, it was just a lot to cover. So here we are, we're going to be covering this on a weekly podcast. I'm going to release these episodes every Wednesday morning because the show airs from Thursday to Tuesday. So let's get into it. If you want to hear me talk about what happened previously on Love Island USA, you can tune into my previous weekly recaps. But let's get into it. We get our first episode of the week. Leo and Anna are making out hardcore, and to me, they're such a random couple. I don't believe that there really is a connection between the two of them. Bergie is trying, and it's kind of cringe at the beginning of this week. He is fully grafting. Carmen tells him that she does not like physical touch, but she does like acts of service. This came across as the first red flag of Carmen kind of leading Bergie on. Like, oh no, I don't like being touched, but you can make me a coffee. As a side note, maybe it's the Barbie madness, but the Love Island USA villa really looks like a Barbie dream house. We start off this week with a recoupling. We get Marco and Hannah, Leo and Anna. It's random, but it's actually cool in this moment. We get Keenan and KK, Victor and Carmen, Bergie and Cassie, which Cassie really grafted before this ceremony to get Bergie to choose her. And then we got Harrison and Destiny, which came across as really random to me. I didn't really think they had a connection, but I guess Harrison really likes Destiny at this point. And then we get Jasmine going home, and this was shocking to me. I felt like she was one of the bigger personalities on this season, and I was really rooting for her and hoping that she would get a long-term arc where she would find love. The girls are really sad to see Jasmine go. They end up chanting in the makeup room. The chant goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, I am the baddest whore. 5, 6, 7, 8, how much dick can you take? Which, for me, really sums up Jasmine and her being a fun person. And we'll really miss you. I hope that we get to see her on some other shows in the future. After this, on the episode July 24th, we have some minor fallout from this recoupling. Harrison, like I said, must really like Destiny. It ends up starting to turn into Bergie Island for me. Cassie and Carmen are both trying to get his attention. Hannah has a breakdown in her cowboy hat after a challenge. And then Keenan has a breakdown in his cowboy hat. And then Victor has a breakdown to the rest of the guys who are all wearing their cowboy hats. And then Carmen changes into sweats and has a breakdown like a normal person. There's a neon sign that says, show me your Rizz, which I love. And also, I think that Bergie is turning into the Rizz master here because all the girls really want him. I have to admit, I was a real hater. I was not really sure why Bergie was cast on the show, and I was throwing so much shade at him, but he actually ends up being one of the more likable people on this, so shame on me. That's what happens when you judge a book by its cover. Coming into the July 25th episode, I'm starting to believe that Carmen and Bergie are cute together, perhaps. They end up playing a newlywed game. They have to learn about each other, so they start studying. Destiny and Harrison find out that they have the same birthday. Ariana from Pump Rules is hosting the challenge, which, okay, fine. The winning couple will have immunity, so whoever knows each other best are going to be safe from this recoupling. It ends up being like the snatch game of love from Drag Race. Cassie says that her turn on is toe sucking, which go off, Cassie. 22-year-old Marco reveals that he has had sex with 71 people. So go off, Marco. My least favorite couple, Marco and Hannah, win and are saved. Boo, boo. They get to save one other couple, and they choose to save Leo and Anna, which didn't really make much sense to me, but okay, here we are. We move on to the July 26th episode. This is where things start to get a little bit weird. Carmen pulls Victor for a chat with her and Bergie. In this chat, it's revealed that Victor is basically being a Bergie hater, and Carmen doesn't like that. Things get heated, and then the boys round up to clear the air. The boys come off as bullies, really cornering Bergie here, except for Keenan, who checks in with Bergie to make sure he's okay in the conversation. Victor really comes across as the lead bully. His ego ends up being just really bruised that Carmen would even consider Bergie. The two couples who are safe, Marco and Hannah, and Anna and Leo, end up going on dates. They come back, and Leo reveals that he still likes Cassie, so I guess he didn't like his date with Anna. Anna overhears Cassie and Leo talking. Oopsies. And they're about to kiss, and Marco tries to break them up. Leo ends up saying that Cassie is like Adam and Eve's apple, so I guess she's pretty hot and tempting. Carmen and Victor end up being the bottom two and being up for elimination, and the Islanders have to vote on who of the two of them should go home. It ends up being a tie, and I was really shocked that it was a tie, given that Victor was being such a big bully to Bergie. Bergie really pleads his case for Carmen to stay, and we're left on a cliffhanger. So I know I'm talking about it 2 seconds later, but we come back on the 28th, and they kept Carmen. Yay! Bye, Victor. You're a bully, and you don't look like Jason Momoa. See you never. Marco and Keenan are pissed that Victor goes home. We get a new storyline where Anna confronts Leo. She tells him that she's no longer interested in him, and that is self-respect. You go, girl. Leo takes accountability and owns up to his share in what's been going on, and the fact that he's been flirting with Cassie. So that was nice. At least he acknowledged his part. Oh, also later that night, KK and Keenan bang in the room while everyone else is sleeping, which is a rare thrilling moment on TV these days. The next morning on Friend Island, Anna decides that she needs to dump Cassie as a friend, so she sits her down and dumps her. Then we get Carmen randomly friend-zoning Bergie, and it's like, dang, she let him on. That really sucks. Like, he just fought for you to stay, and now the next day you're gonna tell him that you're not interested in him. At least give him a chance. Just as a reminder, the day before, Anna had dumped Leo. This day, Anna interrupts Leo and Cassie kissing and tells Leo that because they're technically still coupled up, that he's not allowed to kiss Cassie, and that because it's only 24 hours later that it's not right. My opinion is she really should have no say in what he does. Like, they were never really official anyways, and he was already flirting with Cassie before that, so what made her think that dumping him was gonna not lead to him flirting with Cassie and kissing her? On the next episode, everyone decides to send KK and Keenan to the hideaway, probably not aware that they already had sex in the same room that everyone was in. So KK and Keenan go to the hideaway and they bang again, obviously. And then they come back and they brag about it, but they weren't bragging about it when they had sex in the same room as everybody else. While they were in the hideaway, Cassie and Anna decided to make up and rebuild their friendship. They have a pool party where they get 3 new islanders coming to the villa. We get Kenzo, the videographer, whose name is similar to mine, Emily, the tall girl who's ready to take their men, and Jonah, the rancher with Carpe Diem tattooed across his chest. Usually with the bombshells, they aren't very memorable to me, but I feel like these 3 people are better than 3 people definitely that we already have on the cast. I feel like Love Island USA definitely has a policy of let's put all the weird random people in the beginning of the season so that we don't end up with the same exact cast at the end. Emily sits down with all the girls in the villa and says that she's interested in Keenan and Marco and Harrison, basically all the Taken guys. Someone asked Destiny what the craziest place she's ever had sex was, and she says Africa, which, okay. And my last note from this episode was that Emily and Marco sit down and have a conversation where Emily says that she's looking for a baby daddy, and Marco, who's 22, is like, yeah, I want to have a baby right now. I want a baby. Like, you are 22, you don't need a baby. Here I am, as usual, on my silly podcast, policing the global population numbers. The next episode brings us various flirting with the new people. Kenzo flirts with Destiny, Carmen flirts with Jonah, Emily flirts with Harrison. Anna ends up confronting Cassie again, asking her if she'd been kissing Leo. Again, it's none of her business. Cassie ends up getting really upset about this, which, as a viewer, it came across like Anna was really just backing Cassie into a corner. And what is Cassie gonna do? She's just trying to do her thing. She's trying to find love. Leave her alone. Leo decides to sleep outside, and Cassie ends up going outside to join him. And then they dim the lights, and this vibe outside is immaculate. I don't know why they ever sleep inside. The next day, Cassie cries into her foundation brush. Keenan tells KK that he's slightly interested in Emily, and then he goes ahead and flirts with Emily. And then KK gets rightfully upset. I think that she's too understanding. She's definitely a tough person, and she says that she's been through a lot in her life, but KK, you do not have to go through this. You don't have to deal with this. So basically, KK is a great woman and Keenan is fucking around, and I really hope that she finds a new man ASAP. We find out at the end of the episode that there's going to be a recoupling the next episode, and the new people are going to choose first, which is definitely going to shake things up. Luckily, we're talking about it right now. New girl Emily chooses Harrison, who is currently partnered up with Destiny. Kenzo, who's wearing the widest neck shirt I've ever seen, picks Carmen. Jonah picks Destiny. Anna randomly decides to leave. So let's talk about Anna, who came into this season a very humorous figure. She brought her wedding dress, which I guess we never really got to see. I would really love to know what show she actually applied for. I get the feeling that it wasn't Love Island. We got to learn a lot about her, and while she does come across really silly, she did have a lot of self-esteem and self-respect and really did stand up for herself a lot, which I have nothing but respect for. Unfortunately, her last few days in the villa, she spent pretty much just bothering Cassie, which made Cassie come across as a really more likable figure. But anyways, Hannah and Marco couple up. We get KK and Keenan, Cassie and Leo. Berkey ends up being safe and spared, even though he doesn't have a partner. I left off feeling like I missed something because Harrison really likes Emily now, and Destiny doesn't really seem that upset that Harrison's no longer coupled up with her. That night, Emily and Harrison are smooching away in bed. The next day, they have a challenge called Mr. and Mrs. Lava Lava, which was just a lot of fun. They got to dress up in really cute costumes, just like cave people. It's really entertaining sometimes just to see them have a little bit of fun. Kenzo and Carmen end up winning the challenge, and they have their first kiss. They end up kissing after the challenge as well, and they seem to really like each other. We end the episode with Keenan and KK talking. Keenan tells KK that he feels like she's too good to be true, and that's why he's still open to talking to other girls. But he tells her that he really likes her, and I hope that he's being honest and not just gaslighting her. At the end of the episode, we find out that we have 2 bombshells, a guy and a girl, Imani and Mike. And America gets to decide who they get to go on dates with, so I'm super curious to see what will happen with that. So coming into next week, we have an extra guy, and right now, Bergie is the cheese that stands alone. I worry for him. I also worry for KK. I hope that she can find some resolution with Keenan and that he's not going to keep leading her on and gaslighting her. I hope that someone can come in and sweep KK off her feet before Keenan gets to Casa Amor, because if that man goes to Casa Amor, you're in danger, girl. I also think in the next week we might see Hannah and Marco's relationship completely fall to pieces. But that's all I have for you this week. I'll be back next Wednesday to talk about what happened on this week of Love Island coming. I also am going to be back later this week to talk about Big Brother because we have the premiere coming today at the time of this video coming out. Also, I'll be back on Sunday to talk about some other miscellaneous reality TV shows that I watch. Until next time, stay grafted, my loves.